As you can see, the little green light is there. It's down in the lower right corner on your screen there. That means we're live. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Brushfire Mind. It's Firearms Friday. And, well, we're going to do 2 firearms stories this morning. We're going to do 2. We've got... Okay, I'll drop a little spoiler alert. We have 2, and they're both DRTs. So, there's your spoiler. Oh,
Well, they're supposed to be DRTs, Chris. That's the point. By the way, I'm going to speak quicker now. I might trip over my own words a little more often, but I'm going to attempt to speak quicker now. Do the talking more good.
yeah, Cameron and I were talking about things that we could do to improve our show yesterday, and one of the things that I brought up is Cameron talks like, well, he's a slow speaker in the mornings before he's had his coffee, which I totally understand. But we gonna try to get past that.
Yes, so micro machines, micro machines, micro machines.
Ooh, Micro Machines. I
Yeah, no,
remember them,
yeah, I was about to say, there's a reference nobody under 30 is going to get.
right? and many over 50 have scars to recall. Those little bastards were as bad as Legos.
Oh, yeah, when they were made out of metal?
Oh
Ooh,
yeah. And you
no.
had your sports cars, so they had fins.
Yeah, even as a little kid, I distinctly remember having to pluck a micro machine out of one of my feet.
Yeah. All right. So let's start with the Aloha State. Aloha! Man approaches home with knife, then is shot to death by owner. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've covered several. In fact, this is week 11.
This is 11 in a row.
So this will be DRT 11 and 12, which means I have to run the DRT sounder twice. And yeah, I'm gonna tighten that up a little bit. It's too long. It's slow. I got you. I'll fix it. But not today. Not today. Anyway, so here we go. The Aloha State. Now, before we read on, I want to. Yeah, so we've done several DRTs in the past, and there is a certain tenor to the DRT. I don't think we've run a DRT yet where the lawfully armed potential victim who has defended himself was arrested for murder or manslaughter or anything like that. And that should be the case every time. If you are attacked by some marauding monster and you defend yourself with your firearm, well, that's why that's one of the reasons that we have a Second Amendment. And it may be it's the second best reason, the second most important reason to defend your own life, and the lives of others. But here we are in Hawaii. Aloha Hawaii. Honolulu. A man was shot to death in Eva Beach on Friday, October 5th, around 9 p.m. I lived right around the corner from Eva Beach when I was stationed at Schofield and had my little house by the beach at Barbers Point and Kale'iloa. Yeah.
Back
And
in
milk
Hawaii.
and milk was only $8 a gallon. Ugh.
Yeah, apparently, and this is something I don't know. This is something Chris told me. They don't have dollar menus in Hawaii. They have $1.50 menus in Hawaii. Like,
Yes.
it's just how everything out there is crazy expensive.
Oh yeah, my cigarettes, back then were $100 a carton, and we're talking almost 10 years ago. Jesus, we're talking almost 10 years ago.
Jesus, we're talking about $100 a carton. Your wife loved you. She's just going to let you fund your own vice. I'm sorry. I got a little chuckly. There's an article to read.
Yes, according to the Honolulu Police Department, the 37-year-old victim was on the suspect's property with a knife when the suspect opened his front door and shot him. I,
Yeah, apparently Hawaii's like,
what?
Basically, this is cast in such a way. Well, that might be a little too zoomed in there, buddy. But this is cast in such a way. I mean, the guy with the knife was the victim. Like, you come on my property acting like a psychopath, wielding a knife. There's a good chance I'm going to shoot you. So, what? What?
Yeah,
The
I'm looking
last
for the
line.
byline. Who wrote this story?
I don't know.
You keep talking. I'm going to see if I can find a byline on this story.
The last line of the story is really telling, though, because it basically says the police arrested him, took him in for questioning, and then let him go, which is, I guess, liberal speak for saying, hey, this was a clean shoot. Because it was. I mean, you attack somebody with a deadly weapon and they shoot you. How much more clear cut can you get for self defense? Castle doctrine, stand your ground, all that sort of thing. Different states have different ways of specifically spelling out what happened here. But the long and the short of it is, if you are in your home and somebody approaches your home with some type of hostile intent, well, it couldn't be more clear cut. And yet, that poor victim. This is part of the point of why we do DRT. This is part of the point why we have the caveat where we say, it's not that we want people to get hurt. It's not that we want people to get killed. But once you cross the threshold, the optimum outcome is for the bad guy to end up dead right there on the pavement. Because, it's still making my brain hurt. Because
it says the 37-year-old victim was on the suspect's property. Suddenly, the victim is the suspect, and the suspect is the victim. Okay, we're talking about the state that elected Mazie Hirono, and right here, this is such a clear example of the problem of Democrat at large, and that is an inversion. That is an absolute, categorical inversion of kind of objective reality. A man attacked another man with a knife, and the man who was being attacked defended himself with a firearm. The man who did the attacking is now the victim, and the victim is now the suspect.
Yeah, dude, no, freedom is slavery and slavery is freedom.
2 + 2 is 5.
Something like that. But this is why we say that the best case scenario is for the bad guy to end up dead on the pavement, on the scene. Because if this guy had survived, the 37-year-old victim, good God, would he be suing this homeowner right now? Would this be one of these situations where the guy's telling the police, oh no, it was a misunderstanding and mean old man with a gun shot me and I mean, sorry, hashtag DRT, sorry not sorry. Bye Felicia. Don't go to people's houses looking to cause problems.
Or to Moab.
Yeah, don't go to Moab. One day we're going to have to explain that to people, but
one day. But it is not this day. Okay, so before we get on to the compare and contrast, I just want to... Okay, so we see some of the madness of Hawaii here. Getting and registering a gun in Hawaii. If you want to get a gun in Hawaii, you will need a permit to acquire. That's right. You have to ask for permission to get a gun in Hawaii. You have to fill out this exorbitantly long list of paperwork and pay money just for the privilege of purchasing a firearm, right? Then you have to go and tell the police. You have to go and tell the appropriate authority and physically enter the premises, supply the paperwork, and declare your intent to acquire a firearm. Then you may go and select a firearm from a distributor. And begin waiting the 14-day waiting period. The 14-day waiting period. And then you have to go and get your gun within 6 days. Then you have to take your weapon. You have to take your newly acquired firearm after purchase or acquisition. You have to go back to the Hawaii Police Department's firearms section with a valid photo ID, the original firearms permit, and the firearm for inspection, and complete registration and sign the firearms registration card. You have to do this for each individual firearm, by the way. If you want to own more than one firearm, you have to do this for every single one of them. Georgia, where we are, Georgia's permit to purchase. No permit to purchase is necessary in Georgia. Firearms registration. Georgia has no firearm registration. Oh, really? Georgia owner license. No license is required to own firearms in Georgia. Georgia open carry. In Georgia, you must have a Georgia weapons carry license to openly carry a handgun unless you're in a home vehicle or place of work. Okay, that's Georgia concealed carry. Georgia allows concealed carry without a permit. Here's the relevant law. This isn't just some rando. Now, and Florida is a lot like Georgia on their firearms laws, and I mentioned Florida because... Oh, wait, this is Dayton. What? I don't know why I mentioned Florida.
I don't know why you mentioned Florida either. That's very strange there, sir.
Anyway, in this one, so we've got another DRT here. In this one, an armed robber entered a Dollar General in Dayton and demanded money. There were other customers in the store. The clerk, the Dollar General employee, drew his lawfully owned concealed weapon and sent the criminal to hell with a gaping, sucking chest wound as God intended. So, you'll note that in this article, the clerk is not referred to as the suspect.
Yep, that's exactly where I was going to go. And
in fact, it says the suspect, believed to be in his middle 20s, had a firearm when he entered the store, and the clerk shot him after he demanded money. This is correct. The suspect was the criminal who put a man in a position where he had to choose to take the suspect's life in order to defend his own life and the lives of others. This man, the one that the Hawaiians would have called a suspect, is a damn hero.
Well, he was the victim. Somebody attempted to rob him. He's the victim of a violent crime. Like, that's it. And I think violence, the whole non-aggression principle that a lot of the libertarians like to talk about, that seems to be the X factor. And yes, you break into somebody's house, that's a violent crime. You attempt to rob somebody, even if you're not carrying a weapon, that's still a violent crime.
But, yeah, and if I find you in my house in the middle of the night uninvited, I'm gonna assume you have a weapon. I'm going to hope for the best and be prepared for the worst.
Yeah, Boy Scouts motto, but with bullets, baby.
I like to call it high velocity commerce.
But yeah, that's basically what we've got for y'all this morning. 2 DRTs, which we're especially proud of. Not necessarily saying we're going to bring you 2 DRTs a week every week. I mean, this is 11 weeks in a row. I'm just happy we've got the streak going. Do you think we'll hit a year, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Am I thinking too far down the line?
Well, here's the thing. I'm pretty certain we can hit a year because, contrary to popular belief, lawfully owned firearms in America do more good than harm.
Oh, by a huge, huge factor. And let me be really clear. We skip over stories where the potential victim brandishes a firearm and the bad guy runs away. We skip over stories where pets and children are saved from coyotes and bears by lawfully owned firearms. We skip over stories where the bad guy is wounded and survives the encounter. We skip over dozens of stories every week just to go straight to the DRT stories because, well, I just like to do things at maximum speed whenever possible. And the DRT, I think, that's how we get it done. That's how
Amen
we
to
get
that.
it done.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a good morning. Y'all be safe out there. I'm going to leave you with this.